We're back with Dr. Kent Keith, well-known author of the Paradoxical Commandments, anyway. So you had mentioned that you had chosen your jobs based upon these personal meaning in life.
Mm-hmm, sure.
So you were the president of Chaminade University.
Right.
How did you choose this position and know that this is something for you?
Actually, I've had 6 different positions or roles over the years, and that was a very, very meaningful thing to do. I was approached by some regents asking me to become the president, and to me the thing that was really exciting was the mission of the university, the values that were there. I mean, we're talking about social justice and ethics and servant leadership and nurturing families and building communities, things that I really care about, things that I really want to work toward. So that really motivated me to go. There were a lot of challenges there. It was a very difficult assignment. There were a lot of tough decisions to be made, but what sustained me through the 6 years that I was president was continually focusing on that meaning, thinking about the contribution that university has made and continues to make to the community.
Can you explain to us a little bit more into the philosophy of servant leadership?
Sure, I'd be happy to. There are 2 really prominent models of leadership in our society today. The dominant one, the old one, is the power model, and it's about acquiring power and wielding power and making people do things. There's another model, and it's thousands of years old, and it's the service model. And people who use that model, who live that model, are often called servant leaders. Now, the mission of a servant leader is to identify and meet the needs of others. So, you may use power, you may not need power, but the idea is let's find out what people really need, and let's focus on helping them to get it. So, a power model person might say, I want to make people do things, whereas a servant leader will say, I want to help people do things. So servant leaders are usually facilitators and coordinators and healers and partners and coalition builders, trying to help groups achieve the things they need to achieve. What a servant leader does in each case can be very different, because when you go into a group or an organization and you look around, you say to yourself, is there any kind of gap or missing link or blockage that's making it hard for this group to achieve what it needs to achieve? And if so, can I figure out what that gap or missing link or blockage is? And if I can figure that out, can I do something about it? So that would be my leadership role, is to do something about it. And, if I can't figure out, something that I can do personally, can I find someone else who can do something about it? So it's about really spending time trying to identify the need. That makes you very relevant and very effective, because if you understand the need, you're really in a good position to address it and really be relevant and effective when you take action. That's really what servant leadership is about to me, is focusing on identifying and meeting the needs of others.
Do you feel that this type of leadership is innate, or is it learned, or can it be?
I really believe that people kind of discover it along the way as they go through life. Now, some people discover it real early. It's clear in Christian scriptures. It's clear in the Taoist faith. It's clear in a number of teachings. And people may just say, wow, this is the way I'm supposed to live, and go at it. I think a lot of other people kind of discover it, and they discover that they have a moral decision to make, and that is, when you understand people have needs, you can ignore those needs, you can exploit those needs, or you can try to meet those needs. And servant leaders say, hey, whatever happens, however tough it gets, I'm going to try to meet those needs. So they make a moral decision. And they also discover where the meaning is. And we know from a lot of different sources, from the world's religions, from research, from our own experience, that the real meaning in life comes from loving and helping others. And that's basically what servant leaders set out to do. So it's not about the leader, I want power, I want to make people do things. It's about, how can I love people? How can I help people? How can I be relevant and effective and help the right things get done in the world?
So how would you apply servant leadership to business?
I think really good business people are servant leaders, even though almost none of them would ever use that label. I think that good business leaders really do identify and meet the needs of their colleagues. They really do identify and meet the needs of customers and clients. So they're not all caught up in their own power or prestige. They're really focused on others inside and outside the company. And, that's really effective. Again, that's how to be relevant. You want to find a market niche. You want to find a product or a program or a service that people need. You've really got to go out there and listen and watch and try to identify that need. Then you can come back and say, wow, when I make the investment of our time and energy and resources, it's really going to be on target, because I'm really going to be doing something that people will need and appreciate. They'll buy it, or they'll donate to support it, or the government will support it, or whatever the source of funding is going to be.
Thanks for tuning in. Stay tuned for more on Greater Good Radio.